Hello, welcome to Meta Perfume. I am Emily, here with Twixie, who is not on her chair, but she is sleeping on the floor. I'm going to cover part 3 of my 2022 perfume collection series. And last time I did this in 2020, I called it the niche and other. It's mostly other. I only have a few niche perfumes in my collection, but anything that I wasn't thinking it was designer, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what constitutes designer and what doesn't. I think of like what I would find in, you know, a department store perfume counter as more designer, and then like maybe an independent perfume shop that isn't, you know, sold as widely to be more niche, or other being like Elizabeth Arden brand. I don't know if that's considered designer or not, but anyway, it's really just what I put on the third shelf. So let me break to my perfume collection and I'll show you some spots where I keep my perfume. As I said I would do that last time, so here we go. So this shelf is where I keep all of my perfume. I've done the bottom shelf, the celebrity fragrance, and then I did the top shelf, the designer fragrance. And I have a pretty big collection because I did like brand line reviews for the Cologne and the Armaf on the second and third from the top shelves, and Pacifica and some Atelier clones. So I'm going to focus today on this second from the bottom shelf, which is what I called last time my niche and other, mostly other fragrances. So yeah, I will get started. So I'm gonna probably break this video up a little bit because I don't have that much time right now to finish everything, but I'm gonna start it and then probably do another segment and put them together in the editing. So anyway, let's get started. So I'm gonna start with this Mad Madam, which is my full size, my one full size of Juliette Has a Gun. I have some like roller balls and a little sampler set. But this is a very animalic rose fragrance. It's so like, to me, it's if you had a big bouquet of red roses that were fresh and fragrant and you stuck your face right in them, it would smell a lot like this. Like this to me is like serious rose, but it's got rose, castoreum, white musk, patchouli, patchouli balsam, moss, and black currant as well, which is interesting that it all just kind of blends together to be this earthy rose fragrance. I really like it. I think it's very strong, powerful, good longevity. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I think. It's not something I've ever gotten compliments on, but I do enjoy wearing it for myself, and I think it's a good fragrance. Generally, Mad Madam by Juliette Has a Gun. Next, I'm gonna go into my Atelier cologne collection. So I have Pomelo Paradis. I'm not sure, there's no E on the end, so maybe it's Paradis, French pronunciation. And this is a grapefruit bomb. This is just like, it's almost like spraying grapefruit juice. Like a really nice, sweet. It's got grapefruit, mandarin, black currant, orange blossom, rose, mint, amber, vetiver, and iris. But it's one of those like the Mad Madam that to me is just rose, but like earthy, animalic, sort of garden, like the stems and everything. This is like grapefruit, but all those other notes aren't really prominent, but they just make it really lovely. It doesn't have very good longevity. It's got like 2 to 3 hours. So I have this big bottle, so I bought the big bottle because that's all I had when I wanted to buy it at the duty-free shop. But because it's such a kind of weak longevity fragrance, you know, it's not too bad to have this much of it. So that's Atelier Cologne, Pomelo Paradis. And then one of my very favorites, the Pacific Lime by Atelier Cologne. This is just a great like unisex, I think, summer fragrance that has lime, coconut, mint, lemon and eucalyptus, but I get mostly the lemon, I'm sorry, the lime, not the lemon, and the mint and eucalyptus as the prominent notes of it. It's just very refreshing. It sort of has this like medicinal quality. I think eucalyptus perfumes have kind of, because I think of eucalyptus as a medicinal thing with Vicks and whatnot, I associate that. But it's really nice. Atelier Cologne, one of my favorite, Pacific Lime fragrance. Now, my other Atelier Cologne, this. I have Philtre Ceylon, which is a black tea, black and green tea, see the name, fragrance that has cumin, mint, cardamom, papyrus, gaiac wood, and iris flower. I love tea fragrances, and this is a really unique and interesting, kind of cool tea fragrance that reminds me of Paris because I got it in the Atelier Cologne boutique in Paris. It's just got like, just a very interesting with the papyrus, you know, that's a note I've never seen in another fragrance. The iris kind of blends nicely with all the other notes, but the real prominent note is the green and black tea. Really nice. Philtre Ceylon by Atelier Cologne. And my last like bottle size of Atelier Cologne, and I do have some other roller balls, but I won't go into those, I'm skipping those, is the Vetiver Fatale. This is one of the most masculine fragrances I have in my collection, and Vetiver is sort of a polarizing note, I guess. Some people think it's too earthy, maybe they think it's too masculine, feminine. I really enjoy it. I think it's sort of got that intoxicating quality. This is Italian Vetiver, plum, violet leaf, bergamot, bitter orange, lemon, cedar, orange blossom, and oud. So it's pretty complex, but mostly I pull out the woody notes, the vetiver and the cedar, and a little of the oud. And the other notes don't really make it feminine, although you think they might with the plum and the orange blossom. It doesn't, it's not a feminine fragrance, but it is nice. Vetiver Fatale by Atelier Cologne. Now, go here. The Nest by Indigo. I think this is maybe the favorite Nest fragrance. I haven't found another Nest fragrance I like as much, or that I think is nearly as interesting or unique and cool. This one I really enjoy. I think it's tea, fig, bergamot, cashmere wood, and cardamom. And the cashmere wood and the tea, really nice combo with the fig opening. It's just kind of a light fig, it doesn't scream fig. And then the herbs and the bergamot just kind of give it this nice balance that makes it, it's very wearable. It's like a kind of an all year round fragrance, I would say, but I guess I associate it more with a fall type scent because of the spices, the cardamom. Uh-oh, somebody is calling me. All right, Nest by Indigo, sorry, Indigo by Nest. Now, one of my few niche fragrances is Fig Tea by Nicolai Perfumeur. And this is my summer go-to in very high heat. I really associate this with like hot days because I generally only think of it to reach for it on those days. And to me, I've said this before if you've seen any of my videos on this one, that it kind of makes me feel cool. It's got like a cooling after effect with the dry down being a little bit woody, but that fig is also very pretty, and like it's a very true fig. Obviously it's called Fig Tea. It's got fig, osmanthus, artemisia, mate, coriander, jasmine, not super detectable jasmine though, gaiac wood, and amber. I don't get much amber either. It's mostly the fig and then the coriander, gaiac wood, and lightly the flowers as it dries down. And yeah, something about it just makes me like, it feels like a cooling sort of scent, like when it's really, really hot. I do like it. It's a nice one. Fig Tea by Nicolai Perfumeurs. And this one is probably my least favorite in this set, and I'm looking to maybe give it away or sell it. And this is a Fuego Lento by Frassai. This is another niche. Demi Rollins inspired me to get this because she really enjoyed it. It's very jasmine heavy and very animalic to me. I don't mind jasmine. And it's not a bad fragrance. It's a pretty fragrance. If you like jasmine and an animalic jasmine at that, then you would love it. But I'm not that big on jasmine. I find it a little bit, I mean, I like jasmine. I shouldn't say that. I don't dislike jasmine, but this much jasmine in this sort of like heavy dose is just a bit much for me. It's got jasmine sambac, tolu balsam, orange blossom, suede, civet, sweet notes, and cassis. And the civet, to me, I think this is probably not a vegan fragrance, and knowing that also makes me not as keen on it as well. I don't really want anything that is exploiting other animals to make something, you know, kind of a nice to have thing for me. So that would be my least favorite one, but smells alright, especially if you like jasmine. Fuego Lento by Frassai. This kind of on the other end is not, I don't think, considered niche, probably other, and that is Pink Sugar. And Pink Sugar is a classic, very inexpensive fragrance by Aquolina. Its notes, I think this is a truncated list of notes, but it's got cotton candy, caramel, vanilla, licorice, and raspberry. It is really pretty. I enjoy it. I just, I don't reach for it that much. It's one of those I feel like I should because I don't want it to go bad, and I have a ton of it. I also have the hair mist for it, and I think in the fall I might try and preference this. I might like pull it out so that I can start working through it because I do like it. I mean, I don't dislike it. Kathleen Lights really loves this fragrance, and she was kind of the inspiration for me to buy it. I like Pink Sugar Sensual the best, I think, of all the Pink Sugar, and I thought Gold Sugar was good, but I can't find that anywhere. But yes, Pink Sugar by Aquolina, inexpensive, interesting, pretty popular, very feminine, cotton candy, heavy vanilla caramel fragrance. And oh jeez, okay, I have to go. I'll be back. Pick with my friend. Sir, bye. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I've got my friend. Went to have some food, and now it's getting dark, so I gotta do this before it gets too dark. And I'm gonna break it up even again. I don't think I'm gonna get through everything because this is a lot. So continue on with this Capri by Adrienne Vittadini. Capri here is a lemon peel, musk, iris, oak moss, and Brazilian rosewood fragrance. And it's a very unique woodsy bottom, that oak moss and iris and lemon in the top. The lemon is pretty prominent, but it's a really interesting, like fresh, but also sort of warm and woody. So I like to wear this in a winter daytime context. So Capri by Adrienne Vittadini, and this is one that like I've never heard anybody talk about online, but I found a sample in a perfume shop and I liked it, so I bought it. That's a good one. And then my very recent, like this week, guilty pleasure purchase was this Blackberry Bay by Jo Malone. Just got this and I wore it today. This is blackberry, bay leaf, grapefruit. I love that grapefruit note. Cedar, vetiver, and floral notes that are not very detectable. I don't smell floral, but it's mostly bay leaf and the blackberry and the grapefruit. Really nice. I think it seems like it could be a unisex, but it is marketed to women. It just says for women. And my initial experience of it is that it has kind of poor longevity, and you have to spray a lot to get any kind of sillage going on. So while I love the scent, I would say it's kind of expensive for how poorly it performs. But it's good fragrance, so I bought it. So that's that. This is one of my favorite fragrances, Pinrose Secret Genius. A very limited note set on this one. The top note is caramel. It's like gourmand, very sweet with a sandalwood prominent base, and that base is really like on par with the sweet gourmand notes. Caramel top, white chocolate middle, and the base with Madagascar vanilla, sandalwood, and cedar. So good. I love this fragrance. I would spray it on my underwear. I would layer it with other things, like a very floral fragrance. Sometimes the new Blissful Fantasy by Britney Spears that I got, it smells really nice with a layer of this. It's simple enough and interesting enough that, yeah, I'm trying to get through it because I could tell it's like darkening. Like you can see a little bit around the top, there's a little bit layer of darkness. So I know that it's got pretty heavy vanilla, and that makes the shelf life maybe a little shorter. So I'm trying to wear this one a lot lately. Pinrose by Secret Genius. Also, I want to check out more of this brand because I'm pretty sure they're vegan. So if you have favorites of Pinrose, let me know in the comments, and I can check them out. That'd be cool. So I also have Delina, the classic, super popular niche fragrance. I feel like Demi Rollins made this popular, and then like all the other fragrance reviewers, and it's a really sweet, interesting, nice rose, peony, lychee, fruity, floral, but like very distinctive with the lychee rose and the rhubarb note. The rhubarb gives it this like tartness. It's very feminine. It's very powerful. It's a very like good longevity, major sillage kind of fragrance. Nutmeg. I've had some kind of negative associations with my like experiences while I was wearing this early on, which maybe turned me off to it a little bit. But guys think it's sexy. I've gotten good feedback from dudes on this. Yeah, it's kind of classic niche fragrance. Delina by Parfums de Marley. And then this other niche fragrance that I got was La Danza del Libelule by Nobile 1942. And I think the bottle is really cool. This is maybe my first niche purchase from a sample I got from Lucky Scent. I do find it to be pretty heavy for any kind of warm weather though. This is another one where when it's cold, if it was snowing, I might gravitate towards this. This is so strong. I feel like I'll have this fragrance forever because you need like 2 sprays and it lasts a long time. It's got gourmand, red apple, vanilla, cinnamon, coconut, bergamot, musk, and cedar. But I really get the red apple, the coconut, the cinnamon, and the vanilla. It's very like pastry-like, very bakery, edible, sweet, and powerful. La Danza del Libelule by Nobile 1942. And another one of my favorite daytime fragrances, or fragrances that generally gravitate toward in the daytime, is Tokyo Milk's Gin and Rosewater. And this is got a pretty simple set of notes as well. It's mimosa, citruses, mandarin orange, and Brazilian rosewood. And it's very happy making. It's very mood uplifting, mood enhancing with the citruses. And the mimosa, this is the first fragrance I've ever actually enjoyed mimosa in, and I thought I was like a hater of mimosa basically, but this one kind of changed my mind. This is Tokyo Milk Gin and Rosewater. Longevity is okay. I mean, it's what you would expect for a citrus, maybe 4 hours. Not terrible, but not great. I see I'm using, it's like one of my biggest dents, I guess, in my fragrance collection. Let's see. Oh, this one is another winter time favorite, or cool weather favorite of mine. This is the Agent Provacatuer Fatale Intense. This is a very interesting, kind of spicy, slightly spicy, but like seductive, it's just unique. It's got top note of licorice, dewberry, and chili pepper. And then middle notes of champaca, red rose, and lotus. And in the base, vanilla, leather, and amber. So I think you get a lot of, I don't know, I'm not sure actually what would be the prominent note in here. I could definitely sense the chili pepper because that's such a unique note. And it just, like, there's a lot of unusual notes in here, I gotta say. The rose is not prominent. I'd say it's like evenly balanced with these other more rare notes. And in the base, I definitely smell the leather probably the most prominently. And a little bit of the vanilla and the amber. Yeah, maybe more amber than vanilla. It's not real vanilla heavy. And I don't think the licorice is detectable as licorice, but I generally like a licorice note, I think, in fragrances. But it just kind of adds a little uniqueness. It's Agent Provacatuer, very sexy, interesting, kind of cool weather. Fragrance there. And the next one I have is Casmir by Chopard, Mila LeBlanc. She sold me on this saying it smelled like apricot pie, and it's got vanilla, benzoin, peach, apricot, cinnamon, and tonka. It's very gourmand, sweet. It's yummy. I don't wear it a lot. I do think, again, this reminds me of more of a cooler weather fragrance. I guess vanilla generally I'm not drawn to in hot weather months, the summer or even spring so much. That's nice. Casmir by Chopard. And then I've just got to do two more, and it's not gonna finish it up. I'll come back another time when I get more steam, but I'm running out of steam. This is a classic that this is the only fragrance I bought for nostalgic reasons. This is the only fragrance I remember from high school. And it might have even been elementary or middle school actually. I wasn't really into fragrance at all, but I did have a bottle of this and would wear it. And I don't know, I thought I would buy it and it would be like blast from the past, but it doesn't. Maybe it's just that I have a terrible memory, so I can't remember it. Or maybe they reformulated it. It's been a long time. It's hard to say. But it's like powdery, top notes of apricot, peach, bergamot, and something. Green. Oh my goodness. I can't read my own handwriting. Green something. Green notes. Sorry. And then middle notes of orris root, jasmine, heliotrope, rose, and lily of the valley. Base notes of sandalwood, amber, cinnamon, musk, cedar, and vanilla. It's a really complex fragrance. I'd say more than anything, I think of it as like a fruity, powdery fragrance, I guess. I guess another one of those would be like Dolce & Gabbana, the One. I think of that as kind of a fruity, powdery fragrance. I'm gonna say maybe like the more obscure florals stand out a little in this. Like, I don't get a ton of the top notes, but maybe the heliotrope and the orris root, and then the base a little more. So it's interesting. I mean, it's been being sold in, I think I got it at CVS, it's not expensive, for a long time, so there must be something to it. I don't really reach for it much, but it's fun to remember, like being in middle school. Exclamation by, I think, Cody. I'm gonna say that for now. And then the last one I'm gonna cover right now, and I just have a few more after I'm gonna do later. It's Betsy Johnson's Pretty and Punk. This is a really lovely fruity floral, but kind of a nice, simple, but a little bit of gourmand at the top. It's got like a raspberry and cherry, and then it's got a raspberry and cherry, and then in the middle, praline and patchouli, and vanilla orchid, and then a sandalwood base. So I am a lover of sandalwood. It seems like if you put sandalwood in it, I'm really likely to like it. A lot of my fragrances have sandalwood. Yeah, this is a really lovely kind of bright, uplifting, floral, fruity, that's kind of both like balanced pretty evenly between the floral and the fruity notes of it. Over some mild patchouli, not much. Let's say it's more heavy, slightly heavier in sandalwood, maybe to my nose than in patchouli. But that's Betsy Johnson's Pretty and Punk. Okay, to be continued. I'm continuing this video on my niche and other fragrances that I started working on 2 weeks ago, putting them all together. Anyway, sorry, my hair is 2 weeks longer. It's gonna get cut dramatically on Friday. I have a tetanus shot, vaccination, Band-Aid on, and I passed out at the doctor's office yesterday, but I was okay because I was at the doctor's office and they knew what to do. I just get nervous, or if I get nervous, then I can pass out when I get a shot. So yeah, no fun, but at least it's done. All right, so anyway, I realized I get kind of overwhelmed by these fragrance collection videos because I like the like one focused fragrance videos a lot better. And I'm just like, this is so much. Anyway, I'll get into it. And I know I already started this, so I don't really need a new intro. Anyway, sorry, let's go. Happy Chopard Lemon Dolce is another in this sort of one-off section here by Chopard. The top notes are lemon, bergamot, mandarin orange, shiso, and ginger. If you know Atelier Cologne's Pacific Lime, to me this is like a lemony style version of that one. It reminds me most of that, but it's definitely not lime and lemon, and it's lovely. It's one of my favorite lemon fragrances now since I've gotten it, for sure. Lemon, bergamot, mandarin, shiso, and ginger on top. Middle notes of mango, orange blossom, apple, and cucumber. And then base of mint and woody notes. I get the mint. I don't get too much on the woody notes. I think the apple is very subtle, and the mango. I could see a little of the cucumber, the shiso, but mostly it's a lemon, mint, heavy fragrance. It's really lovely. Very happy making, as the name would imply. Happy Chopard Lemon Dolce by Chopard. Love it, love it. Now I'm not doing most of my minis. I might do a separate section on minis, but because I've been really going through this one, and I plan to purchase it when I'm done with it, I am gonna include it. So Eclat d'Arpège by Lanvin. Top notes of green lilac and petit grain. Middle notes of green tea, peach blossom, red peony, wisteria, and Chinese osmanthus. And then cedar, musk, and amber in the base. It's just really unique. It's really unique. Those notes, I think, like green lilac, I've never heard of that as a note. And I think that's the prominent note in this. But also like wisteria, I've smelled in other fragrances and thought it was too powerful, but I think it's so subtle in this that it makes it really nice with that peach blossom. The green tea is also pretty subtle. The bases doesn't really come through, musk, cedar, amber. It just makes it last a bit. I mean, it's got decent longevity. So yeah, Eclat d'Arpège by Lanvin. Really lovely, like warm weather, I'd say. Spring and summer fragrance. This one. Like, where's my camera? Eclat d'Arpège by Lanvin. I'll be picking up a big one soon enough. I also have Yes I Am by Cacharel. This is, ooh, sweet, sweet love. Raspberry, mandarin orange, lemon, and bergamot on top. But it's most, I think it's a base heavy fragrance. Like the top is nice. It makes it like kind of a rich, slightly fruity, but really the power in this fragrance comes from the base and the middle. The middle is gardenia, ginger flower, amber, jasmine, rose, and orange blossom. It's really complex. There's a lot of florals, but I wouldn't say it's, you know, like predominantly floral. There's so much in the base. Base has milk, caramel, vanilla, cardamom, licorice, coumarin, benzoin, amberwood, and sandalwood. So that milk, caramel, and vanilla, I think, is the most powerful component of this fragrance. And even though it's got a ton of notes, like that is kind of the main character that brings it to this. But it's just a really complex, interesting, sexy, maybe a slightly cooler weather fragrance that lasts a very long time and has that benzoin, which I love, makes it a little bit medicinally too. So yeah, really interesting. Yes, I Am by Cacharel. And then we have Nirvana by Elizabeth and James. Nirvana French Grey is this one. It's a pretty simple composition, very unisex fragrance here. Neroli, lavender, and musk. So not many notes, but yeah, it's like unisex, fresh, light. Neroli to me is kind of polarizing, I guess. I can take it in small doses, but it's nicely balanced in here. It's kind of an interesting fragrance. So yeah, that's French Grey by Elizabeth and James. And then I have Nirvana Amethyst, also by Elizabeth and James. And this is another simple composition with tobacco. It's the prominent, I'd say it's the most prominent note. And then a nice complement of honeysuckle to kind of sweeten it up. Cedar and spices. And I would say it's not as heavy on the spices. I wouldn't say this is such a spicy fragrance, but it's more of a tobacco, honeysuckle, cedar heavy one. Yeah, it's nice. It's probably one of my favorite tobacco fragrances. I don't have many. I'm not real big on it, but I like this one. I'd say this is a cooler weather fragrance too, and probably nighttime. Amethyst, Nirvana Amethyst by Elizabeth and James. And next we have Zen by Shiseido. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you may know this is not a favorite of mine personally. And I layer it with Britney Spears Rocker from Fantasy. But it kind of grows on me. And if I haven't smelled it for a long time and then I pick it up again, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty nice, I guess, you know. Top notes, very complicated, but lots of notes in this one. Grapefruit, pineapple, bergamot, orange, and rose. I'm gonna say it's bergamot heavy of all of those to my nose. Middle notes of freesia, red apple, lotus, hyacinth, gardenia, lily of the valley, violet, and orris. Yeah, a lot of notes. And then the base, patchouli, cedar, musk, amber, incense, and pine. And I definitely get that pine note on my skin, which is probably one of the reasons why it's not that much of a favorite to me. Because it's, I don't know, pine is like a more masculine note in my opinion. Not that this is a masculine fragrance, but it leans it just masculine enough that I feel like I have to layer it with Rocker from Fantasy by Britney Spears to make it kind of less masculine smelling on me. So, Zen by Shiseido, or Shiseido Zen, I'm sure. It's alright. And then I have this nice sexy date night fragrance, Lover Dose Red Kiss by Diesel. It is top notes of sugar, blackcurrant, apple, and bergamot. I don't know if I can pull any of those out really. It's all about the middle for me. And this one, the middle's got cocoa pod, hazelnut, orange blossom, and apricot. I definitely get the apricot, the cacao pod, and a little hazelnut, and then in the base there's patchouli and amber. It makes it, it's just a subtle patchouli and amber. It's not overwhelming patchouli, but it gives it that longevity. It's got pretty good longevity. It's a nice, like, intimate, sexy, good, yummy fragrance. Lover Dose Red Kiss by Diesel. And then I have my Elizabeth Arden collection. I wasn't sure if I was going to include these or not. I don't know if this is really a designer. Maybe she's a designer, but she's kind of like lower price point. I don't know. But I like Elizabeth Arden. And it's interesting because I didn't realize there was an association with Britney Spears fragrance line and Elizabeth Arden. So it kind of makes sense that I gravitate towards both. I mean, I like both and they have some sort of connection to each other. So this is Fifth Avenue Royale by Elizabeth Arden. It's got top notes of liquor, raspberry, orange blossom, Sicilian bergamot. Middle notes of patchouli, olibanum, atlas cedar, cypriol oil, or nagarmotha, which is a powerful, earthy, aromatic, woody fragrance, apparently, according to Fragrantica. And then in the base, suede. I get a lot of the suede in this base. Amber wood, labdanum, and musk. I'd say this is like a pretty masculine. I get mostly the liquor, a little bit of the raspberry, that cedar comes through for me, and the suede. So this is one of the more masculine fragrances in my collection. I'd say I would relegate it to winter time or cool weather. I have to be in the right mood to wear it, because I'm not that big on suede or spices, but I think it's a nice composition overall. So that is Fifth Avenue Royale by Elizabeth Arden. And then this is kind of an early favorite of mine when I started collecting fragrances, which is Red Door Aura by Elizabeth Arden. And this has a similar top actually to the Fifth Avenue Royale, but it smells completely different, like completely different. Top notes of raspberry, orange blossom, and bergamot. It's the same as Fifth Avenue Royale, except they add liquor. Middle notes of jasmine and rose. And then base notes of sandalwood, amber, and musk. Now, it's interesting because I don't know that I would pick out any of those. Like, it doesn't smell like any of these notes to me in particular, because of like the blend kind of making its own thing, which I think is a cool effect when fragrances are able to pull that off. I guess the rose and jasmine as a combo like balance in a way that kind of makes it its own new baby of jasmine and rose kind of heavy thing. Yeah, with the musk, I think I get the musk too. But it's a nice spring floral fragrance that's got a slightly fruity top and woody base. It's just really kind of intoxicating to me. That's Red Door Aura by Elizabeth Arden. And then another newer kind of favorite of mine with pretty poor longevity, which is kind of why I'm going through it so fast. I just got this almost halfway through. This is Provocative Woman by Elizabeth Arden, and the top notes on this are quince, ginger, lotus, raspberry, and peach. And oh, it's so intoxicating to me. I like it. I want to spray it. Just a little bit. Middle notes of orchid, pink freesia, apricot, and papaya. And then base notes of sandalwood, hinoki wood, amber, red amber, white tea, and cedar. And I think I'm getting the base, like when I read the top, middle, and base, I don't think I smell either the top or the middle too much in this, really. I get the white tea. I think I get some hinoki wood and cedar. I get the ginger from the top. I do get the ginger. It's true, but the fruits are pretty subtle. That quince is nicely mixed with the rest of the fruits. And the florals are like not typical sweet florals. They just complement the composition really well. I wish it had better longevity because I really like it. But yeah, Provocative Woman by Elizabeth Arden. And the last two, this is such a long video. This is Ginger Lily White Tea, flanker of Elizabeth Arden's White Tea. Can you see that very well? It says Ginger Lily at the bottom there. Anyway, this one has top notes of bitter orange, bergamot, neroli, and mandarin orange. Middle notes of ginger, white ginger lily, and violet. I do like ginger. A lot of my fragrances have ginger in them. And then base notes of musk, cedar, mate, and tonka bean. There's a little bit of overlap with white tea, but it is pretty different. It is its own thing. It's also pretty low longevity, but I enjoy the scent. I like it as much probably as the scent of white tea, but it doesn't last as long, unfortunately. So this is the Ginger Lily Flanker of White Tea by Elizabeth Arden. And then lastly, I have White Tea by Elizabeth Arden. And this has top notes of sea notes, fern, mandarin orange, and clary sage. It's kind of an unusual note, clary sage. Making it, it's definitely kind of leaning unisex, but it's marketed to women, and I don't think it's marketed as unisex. White tea, white iris, and mate. And maybe it could be, I'm not sure, I'd have to check. Yeah, this is a great hot weather fragrance. Great summertime fragrance, good longevity with that mate and the iris and the tea. This is a kind of classic fragrance, I think very well received. And of all the flankers, my Ginger Lily is my favorite. I have a small set of minis that are flankers of this too, and those are all right. I might do like a review of those later too. And then the base has ambrette, exotic woods, tonka bean, and amber. I don't get much of the tonka bean, but the exotic woods I think are there balancing with like the green top notes, the iris and the white tea. Just a really interesting, lovely, good composition for hot weather, very fresh. So Elizabeth Arden White Tea. Now that concludes a very long video, and I will finally do my next one with the rest of the collection that I haven't included, which are bigger, like a single maker things, like my Armaf collection, my Guerlains, I think my Atelier colognes I haven't done either, and my Pacifica. So those 4 will all go into another video, and then I'll be finished with my 2022 perfume collection video, unless I do my minis, which I might, but maybe not. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Please give this a like and a subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Trixie here says I'm signing off, and take care. Bye bye.